right, guys, so this section here is about how we can end the fight quickly. This is very important in distinguishing self-defense, personal protection, and say sport, combat sport, because most street fights don't last longer than 5 to 10 seconds. I think it's 10 to 12 or something is the average. They're not very long engagements. However, they can be very fast, very brutal, and very intense. And so we need to match that level of intensity and that brutality if we are truly being threatened. This is not something where, you know, some drunk guy at the bar insults you and you're gonna get, no. This is like your life is on the line here, that you're really fearing for your life or your family's life. And so what we're gonna do here is a very quick assault tactic. Now this comes from our lineage in Jeet Kune Do, and one of the more famous people for this is a guy named Paul Vunak. And this guy trains the Navy SEALs. And so, you know, if he's training the Navy SEALs in hand-to-hand combat, he's probably someone to listen to. But what he calls it is a rapid assault tactic. But really what this is a constant barrage at high percentage targets, right, that almost anyone can do, many people can do, even against a stronger opponent. Now, there's a lot of factors involved, obviously, them grabbing you and all these things, but I want to show you the basis that you can have working in your mindset. And so if and when you're in this bad position, you're already acquiring these targets in your mind, right? That you're able to concentrate and just start to think about, okay, if I need to hit this guy, where are those targets? How can I hit them? So in this context, I'm going empty hand only, meaning I don't have a weapon or an improvised weapon. I don't have a pen, I don't have a flashlight, I don't have a belt or something that I can use, or a knife or a gun or something. I'm just empty hand. Okay, so I'm going to show you at this angle first, and I'm going to start from this fence position. Why? Because this is closer to a actual self-defense posture than a fighting position, right? So, in a practice, I recommend practicing both leads. I'm going to prefer my left foot forward because for me, if I'm going to deliver the most power with my dominant hand, I want that hand back. But I practice both leads because you need to be able to operate from any lead, even no leads, right? So first one is this: I'm in this defensive posture, and the first thing I'm doing is just rapidly bringing palm strikes straight up the middle. Why palm strikes? One is if I punch, which we like to do, right? This is part of our JKD curriculum. But if you hit the head wrong, if you hit the skull wrong, you could do lots of damage to your fingers, your hands, and then you got a problem. But if I open up and I go with my palm strikes here like this, then I'm not as in danger of breaking my hand on his skull. I am also able to get to more targets, meaning if I palm strike the nose and mouth, or even the jaw, look where my fingers go, up into the eyes, right? So we can do this two different ways. One is what we call a gerbil drill, which we literally are just, it's the silliest thing, but we're just clawing at this person's eyes. Right? I don't need to generate any power. I'm just trying to get a finger in the eye and cause disorientation, right? Maybe dissuade them from wanting to attack me anymore, which again, obviously, the most important thing for me is to get out of there, to end the threat. But if I have to, if I can just get them away and then scram, or if I'm using this to come in with bigger tools. So this is the first, the wrap. But then we can also change this to palm strikes, where we're generating a little bit more power. I'm targeting right up into that nose or right up into that jaw. And I'm sending them backwards, straight up the middle. Good, and again, my palm strikes, those fingers can turn right, or the fingers can be like claws right in the eye, so I can combine the two. Gerbil drill's a little bit easier, it's just fast. I don't need any real mechanics. Palm strikes though, I really want to shift my hips and shoulders into it, right? Boom, 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 and get a little bit more power. Okay. Now the next part of this is I'm going for the ears. If I box the ears here like this is very painful. Okay. Now that I've got the connection to the ears, I'm grabbing the head and I'm driving my top of my head to the front of their face. Right. Then I'm elbowing and elbowing. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eardrum pop. Drop your chin. Don't keep your head up like this. There's a chance that you get headbutted. Drop your chin and drive your head into their face. Now I'm keeping a hold of them and driving my elbow, my strongest elbow, into their jaw, here like this. The ear pop can also sometimes just be one at a time, okay? If I can't get the ear, even if I get the slap, I get a good amount of disorientation, a lot of contact to the face. okay? I can also use the palm and try to get behind the ear. But for now, I like this as, again, high percentage targets that don't require that much attributes, meaning you're not a trained fighter, you haven't trained that much, but you can still pull this off. All right, so looking at it from this angle, I'm going 1, 2, 3 into the eyes, or I'm palm striking up into the nose and the eyes. Okay, then I'm boxing the ears here like this, keeping my chin tucked and driving the top of my head into their face, keeping a hold of whatever I got, their head, their hair, their elbow. If I could pull even more, that's better contact, and I'm driving this elbow into their jaw. Okay, so again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, palm strikes, ear slap. You can also thumb the eyes from that position. So after I pop, put this into their eyes, and then I drive my headbutt. Okay, and then hit. Now there's knees that we can employ as well. The thing you gotta be aware of though is that if you knee them first and then you're thinking about headbutting them, sometimes the knee will do what? Buckle them forward. If I buckle this guy forward and his head drops and I go to headbutt, I might end up headbutting myself. So headbutt first, then do the knee, okay? So this obviously, look, I'm working against an armless mannequin, but we need to have the targets in mind. It's not gonna play out this way. It's not expected to. We don't expect that everything's gonna work exactly the same. This is just meant to give you what we call target acquisition. There are more, like the kneecap is very valuable, right? High percentage target, just clack that kneecap with your shoe, very impacting. The groin, obviously, outside of the knee. Solar plexus, hitting them in the solar plexus, hitting them in the liver, right? But right now I wanna give you a very simple one that's easy to kind of focus on, right? Is that you're just attacking and assaulting those targets. Again, might not be in this order, right? Sometimes you might just go straight to that, depending where your position is. Hey, come on, like this. Or they're in close, I might just grab for the headbutt, okay? So there's your, again, what some people refer to as the rapid assault tactic, but there's your targets that you can use to end the conflict quickly, end the threat quickly.